saying goodbye to Trevor Lawrence for the Jets. Now, Ryan, how should Jets feel right now after knowing that they have lost this star quarterback potentially?
If you are a Jets player, you don't give a dang. You absolutely do not care. Like, straight up. You walk around like Lonzo walked around on training day. You just don't care. Like, you're going to do whatever you want because you have to win football games. It is not your job to set the Jets organization up to get the pick that they want. It's your job to work to keep your job. Like, you are an independent contractor, right? When they look at this team, they're not going to look at this team as the whole and say, okay, we're going to get rid of the entire defense and get rid of the entire offense for as players, because that's not how it works, right? Every coach on that team is still coaching because they know they're going to have to put out applications and interview and give resumes to different organizations to try to get work next year. And that's what you're playing for. If you're this team, you're playing to show the next person that comes in and turns on the film that, man, you know what? Bryce Hall is still playing football. Marcus May is still playing his butt off. Quinnen Williams is still playing tough. That's why this team is going out on the field. Sam Darnold is pretty much playing to say, okay, I can be your quarterback next year and into the future, the New York Jets. So if you're a New York Jet player or coach, you are doing exactly what you're paid to do. Now, if you're the organization and you're the owner and you're the fans, you might be a little salty. You might feel like you have bought into Trevor Lawrence being the golden boy, Trevor Lawrence basically looking like every depiction we've seen of Jesus on all of these Hollywood movies, and that he's going to be the savior. But you don't know. What you should be appreciating is you have 53 men on this roster right now that'll fight. You have 53 men that have lost their defense, a half that's lost their defensive coordinator, that's been mired in not only mediocrity, they're not even in below average football for a year, and they still want to try to win games. And that's what's important. That's what they should be doing.
So
Kind of goes along the lines of what J.J. Watt had to say yesterday after their game.
Absolutely.
Right. You know, the fact that you should go out there, play your hardest, you're making a lot of money. Exactly.
Yeah,
Domonique, go
I
ahead.
think, first of all, if the depiction of Jesus in your church looks like Trevor Lawrence, then you need to come to my church. It's a whole different depiction in my church. But that aside,
And like
it's probably a little bit more
JJ
accurate.
drew on Good Times.
But anyway, off of the training day reference, I think that your point is right. All of the players out there next year, they're going to be playing football on Pelican Bay. They don't care what quarterback comes into that team. They don't care about your draft status. They don't care about none of that. So I think that you ask, how should the Jets feel about it? I think the Jets should feel great about it. How do the Jets fans feel about it? I don't care. It doesn't matter. I do think that the more I thought about it today, that Trevor Lawrence going to Jacksonville might be an okay situation, but what we've seen out of the Jets, if I were Trevor Lawrence, it might feel better to go to New York, because New York, the greatest thing about playing in New York is it comes with a double-edged sword. Is if you do well, we'll make everybody think you're better than you are, like we did with Jeremy Lin. If you do poorly, we're going to make everybody think that you are worse than you are, like we do with the Jets. But you see what's happening in New York right now. It seems like they have a lot of good talent, and Trevor Lawrence had the opportunity to walk in there, be dropped in New York City, and take a team that was going to be winless or maybe one win and take them to 5 or 6, maybe 7 wins, and we'd have been talking about Trevor Lawrence like he was Jesus, because that is New York City. We care so much more about that city. We care so much more about the teams in that city. It would have been fantastic if they were able to bring in the right coach. So he's going to end up probably down in Jacksonville, and they have some good pieces down there, and they're probably going to be getting a new coach too, so maybe he can do the same thing. But winning in Jacksonville, it ain't like winning in New York. Joe Namath is in the Hall of Fame because he won a Super Bowl for the New York Jets. It ain't because he was killing people week in and week out. As everybody knows, his career stats aren't all that impressive. But you know what? He put on a mink coat in New York City. He promised you they was going to knock off the Colts, and they did it. Oh. That they should put the mink in the Hall of Fame. So that's a missed opportunity for Trevor Lawrence potentially. But I think the Jets fans, you should feel good about the fact that you got some people on that team and in that building that have some damn personal pride. I respect that. I would be proud of that. I understand you missed out on this quarterback, but I'd be proud that my guys didn't go up there and fold up shop. It's so easy to be like, I'm done. We stink.
Now, I'll say this. I
Joe
think you
Namath
tweeted,
looking like
you
Cat
tweeted
Williams
yesterday.
and Friday After Next, huh?
Down, you
Get in
tweeted
on
yesterday
action,
though
Charlie.
that Adam Gase deserves some credit, and I think we should repeat that. Adam Gase definitely deserves credit. When he spoke after the Rams game, he said, "My job and what I'm paid to do is to win football games." And Coach Tomlin would tell me all the time and tell our team all the time that we don't get paid to practice. We don't get paid to try. The reason you get paid in the NFL is to win. And what normally happens, because that's the reason you get paid, when you aren't doing that, you don't get paid no more. And so if you're the New York Jets, you have to understand that, and they seem to finish the season with that mindset. Now, if you're Trevor Lawrence, going to Jacksonville won't be bad. We've seen quarterbacks and teams succeed there. Mark Brunell had a team that was successful there. I mean, David Garrard for a little bit of time, Byron Leftwich for a spell. Obviously, the Blake Bortles, I wouldn't necessarily call him led, the Blake Bortles misled Jacksonville Jaguars. And so for him, it's not a bad thing to go anywhere. But make no mistake about it. If you go to New York and he plays in New York with those flowing locks and suited and booted up, and he gets an opportunity to bring that type of personality to that position, to that team, it's a different level of stardom that he would have achieved. And so I don't think this is the Jets fans losing. This is probably Trevor Lawrence losing.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely interesting to know what is going on inside Trevor Lawrence's head right now, because a lot has changed just in the past couple days for him, thinking maybe he was going to New York to now assuming he's probably going to Jacksonville. So it'll be interesting to hear his thoughts when he should decide to share those.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.